ॐ अपोपस्पृश्यात् ध्रुवन्ते राजा वरुणो ध्रुवं देवो बृहस्पतिः ध्रुवन्ते इन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च राष्ट्रं धारयतां ध्रुवम् ॐ अच्युताय नमः ॐ अनन्ताय नमः ॐ गोविन्दाय नमः उपोपस्पृश्यात् आगमार्थं तु देवानां गमनार्थं तु रक्षसां कुर्वे गन्तारवं तत्र देवताह्वानलाञ्छनं घण्टस्थिताय गरुडाय नमः हस्ते पुष्पं गृहीत्वा अथ संकल्पः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये प्राणनायम्य ॐ भूः ॐ भुवः ॐ स्वः ॐ महः ॐ जनः ॐ तपः ॐ सत्यं ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् आपो ज्योतिरसोमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरों तदेव लक्षणं सुरिनं तदेव ताराबलं चन्द्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं देवबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपते गौरीपते त्यङ्घ्रेघं स्मरामि शुभे शोभने मुहूर्ते आद्य ब्रह्मणः द्वितीय परार्धे श्वेतवराह कल्पे सप्तमे वैवस्वत्मन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतितमे कलियुगे कलि प्रथम चरणे भूर्लोकान्तर्गत उत्तर अमेरिका खंडे कैनेडा देशे एजाक्स नगरे संकटमोचन श्री हनुमान मंदिरे शुभे दिन शोभने मुहूर्ते येषां यजमानानां प्लीज टेक योर नेम्स एंड रिमाइंड्स एवरीवन येषां यजमानानां सहकुटुम्बस्थानां क्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यविजय आयु आरोग्यमैश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थं समस्तमङ्गलावाप्त्यर्थं समस्तदुरितोपशान्त्यर्थं चिन्तितमनोरथवाप्त्यर्थं सर्वाभीष्टसिद्ध्यर्थं सर्वारिष्टशान्त्यर्थं श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्रीरामचंद्र प्रीत्यर्थं श्रीरामदूत वीर हनुमत प्रीत्यर्थं धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षम चतुर्विध पुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थम अद्य अहम महागणपति पूजनम श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती पूजनम श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्र पूजनम वीर हनुमत पूजनम राधा कृष्ण चंद्र पूजनम सदाशिवलिंगाभिषेकाराधनं च अहम करिष्ये इति संकल्प्य ओम श्री गणेश ध्यान ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ओम श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि ओम पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि अर्घ्यमाचमनीयं शरीरे स्नानं च समर्पयामि श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः स्नानानन्तरमिदमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि अर्चना ओम सुमुखाय नमः ओम कपिलाय नमः ओम लंबोदराय नमः ओम विनायकाय नमः ओम गणाध्यक्षाय नमः ओम फालचंद्राय नमः ओम वक्रतुंडाय नमः ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः नानाविध परिमलपत्र पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि धूपदीपनैवेद्यम् ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तारिक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति 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 श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः धूपमाग्रापयामि दीपं दर्शयामि आचमनीयं सर्वरक्षान् धारयामि नैवेद्यम् ॐ नाभ्यासीरन्तरिक्षं शीर्ष्णोऽध्यौ संवर्चता पद्भ्यां पुंसश्रोत्रात् तथा लोकागमकल्पयन् ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमो नमः। सकलाराधनैः सुवर्चितं श्रीसिद्धिविनायकमूर्तये नमः। ॐ ताम्बूलं च निवेदयामि श्रीगणेशाय नमः। Shri Ganesha Prarthana. We conclude Puja to Ganesh Ji with Prarthana. Please join us. We chant the names of Ganesh Ji, seeking his blessings. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kurume Deva सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात् मूषिकवाहन मोदकहस्ते चामरकर्ण विलम्बित सूत्र वामन रूप महेश्वर पुत्र विघ्न विनायक पाद नमस्ते गजाननं भूतगणाधिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः। अथ श्रीगणेशपञ्चरत्नस्तोत्रम्। ॐ
मुदाकरात् मोदकं सदा साधकं
कलाधरावतं सकं विलासिलोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते वदैत्यकं नताशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् न तेतरातिभीकरं नवोदितार्कभास्वरं नमस्सुरारिनिर्झरं नताधिकापदुधरम् सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम् समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरं दरेतरोदरं वरं वरे भवक्रमक्षरम् कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम् अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोऽतिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणम् प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय कृन्तनम् हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकरन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमाधरोऽयनयोन्वाहं प्रजल्पति प्रभातिके स्मरन् गणेश्वरम् आरोगितां दोषितां सुसाहितीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमभ्यपैति सोचिरात् श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमो नमः। वेदोक्तमन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि। बोलिए गणेश भगवान की जय। श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती पूजन। वी वर्शिप दुर्गा माँ, सरस्वती माँ, लक्ष्मी माँ together. दुर्गा देवी ध्यानो। ओम विद्युद्दाम समप्रभा मृगपतिस्कन्धस्थिताभीषणां कन्याभिकरवालकेतविलसत्थस्ताभिरासेवितां हस्ते चक्रगदे शिखेतविशिखां चापं गुणं तर्जनीं बिभ्राणामनलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे। जगदम्बा दुर्गा देवी नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। महालक्ष्मी देवी ध्यानम्। ॐ हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावह। महालक्ष्म्यै नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। महासरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। ॐ मेधादेवी जुषमाणा नागात् विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्यमाना। महासरस्वत्यै नमः ध्यायामि आवाहयामि। आवाहन काले पाठ्यं ॐ जातवेदसे स्वनवाम सोममराति यतो निदहति वेदः सनःपरशरति दुर्गानि विश्वा नावेव सिन्धुन्दुरितात्यग्निः तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टां दुर्गां देवीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। सुतरसे नमः इति मन्त्रेण पुष्पम् ॐ महादेवी नमो नमः। पुष्पमहादानं समर्पयामि गोभिर्जुष्टमयुजोनिषिक्तं तवेन्द्रविष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमविसंवसानो वैष्णवीन् लोक इहमादयन्ताम्। ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात्। जगदम्बायै नमो नमः। अर्चना। ॐ श्री महादेव्यै नमो नमः। ओम दुर्गायै नमः। ओम माहेश्वर्यै नमः। ओम शिवप्रियायै नमः। ओम मंदारवासिन्यै नमः। ओम अर्कायै नमः। ओम गिरीसुतायै नमः। ओम धात्र्यै नमः। ओम महामायायै नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ओम महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। ओम श्रीदेव्यै नमः। ओम पद्मासन्याय नमः। पद्मासिन्यै नमः। ओम कमलाक्ष्यै नमः। ओम विष्णुपत्न्यै नमः। ओम धनप्रदायिन्यै नमो नमः। श्रीप्रदायिन्यै नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ओम महासरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम वीणाधारिण्यै नमः। ओम चतुराननवल्लभायै नमः। ओम ज्ञानप्रदायिन्यै नमः। ओम श्रीप्रदायिन्यै नमः। ओम यशप्रदायिन्यै नमः। ओम पुस्तकभृते नमः। श्रीवाग्देव्यै नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वतीभ्यः। ओम आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावह। श्री दुर्गायै नमः। महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। महासरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। सुगन्धधूपमाघ्रापयामि। धूपानन्तरं विरमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। महादेवी नमो नमः। आर्द्रां यक्करिणीं यष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः। श्रीदुर्गादेव्यै नमो नमः। श्रीमहालक्ष्म्यै नमो नमः। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। दिव्यमङ्गलदीपं दर्शयामि। दीपानन्तरं विरमाचमनीयं समर्पयामि। सर्वरक्षान् धारयामि। नैवेद्यम् ॐ नाभ्यासीदन्तरिक्षं शेषाद्यौ समर्थता पद्भ्यां श्रोत्रात् तथा लोकान् कल्पयन् सर्वायै नमो नमः। श्रीजगदम्बिकायै नमो नमः। इलालवङ्गकर्पूरताम्बूलानि च समर्पयामि। श्रीदुर्गालक्ष्मी सरस्वतीभ्यो नमः। समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि। महादेव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ ते सहस्रमयतं पाशामृत्योर्मर्त्याय हन्तवे। महादेवी नमो नमः। अत दुर्गादेवी प्रार्थना। ॐ
शिवोवाच शृणु देवी प्रवक्ष्यामि कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रमुत्तमं येन मन्त्रप्रभावेन चण्डीजापशुभो भवेत्। न कवचं नार्गलास्तोत्रं कीलकं न रहस्यकं न सूक्तं नापि ध्यानं च न न्यासो न च वार्चनं। कुञ्जिकापाठमात्रेण दुर्गापाठफलं लभेत्। अतिगुह्यतरं देवी देवानामपि दुर्लभं। गोपनीयं प्रयत्नेन स्वयोनिरेव पार्वती। मारणं मोहनं वश्यं स्तम्भन उच्चाटनादिकं। पातमात्रेण संसिद्ध्येत कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रमुत्तमम्। अथ मन्त्रः ॐ ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डायै विद्महे। ॐ ग्लौं हूं क्लीं जुं सः ज्वालय ज्वालय ज्वल ज्वल प्रज्वल प्रज्वल। ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डायै विद्महे। ज्वालहं सं लं क्षं फट् स्वाहा इति मन्त्रः। नमस्ते रुद्ररूपिण्यै नमस्ते मधुमर्दिनि नमः कैटभहारिण्यै नमस्ते महिषार्दिनि नमस्ते शुम्भहन्त्रै च निशुम्भासुरघातिनि। जाग्रतं हि महादेवी जपं सिद्धं कुरुष्व मे। ऐंकारी सृष्टिरूपायै ह्रींकारी प्रतिपालिका क्लींकारी कामरूपिण्यै बीजरूपे नमोऽस्तु ते। चामुण्डा चण्डघाती च यैकारी वरदायिनी विच्चे च भयदा नित्यं नमस्ते मन्त्ररूपिणी। धां धीं लुं दुर्जते पत्नीं वां विं वुं वागरीश्वरी। क्रां क्रीं क्रूं कालिका देवी शां शिं शुं मे शुभं कुरु। हुं हुं हुंकाररूपिण्यै जं 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 जम्बनादिनी। भ्रां भ्रीं भ्रूं भैरवी भद्रे भवान्यै ते नमो नमः। अं कं चं दं तं यं यं शं विं दुं ऐं विं हं शं। दिजागृं दिजागृं त्रोते त्रोते दीप्तं कुरु कुरु स्वाहा। पां बीं बुं पार्वती पूर्ण खां खीं खुं खेचरी तथा। सां सिं सुं सप्तशती दिव्य मन्त्रसिद्धिं कुरुष्व मे। इदं तु कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रं मन्त्रजागार्ति हेतवे। अभक्तेनैव दातव्यं गोपितं रक्ष पार्वती। यस्तु कुञ्जिका देवी हीनां सप्तशतीं पठेत् न तस्य जायते सिद्धिररण्ये रोदनं यथा इति श्रीरुद्रयामले गौरीतन्त्रे शिवपार्वती संवादे कुञ्जिकास्तोत्रं
सम्पूर्णम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। जगदम्बायै नमो नमः। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्र पूजनम हनुमत पूजनम राधा कृष्ण चंद्र पूजनम। ओम श्री रामचंद्र ध्यानम। ओम लोकाभिरामं रणरंगधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत श्री रामचंद्राय नमः। श्री हनुमते नमः। वीर हनुमध्यानम्। ॐ यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं। श्री हनुमते नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहयामि पंचमुखी हनुमते नमः। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमः। वीर हनुमरस्त्राय नमः। श्री राधा कृष्ण ध्यान। ओम यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपरक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततर्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्री राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमः। ध्यायामि आवाहयामि आसनं समर्पयामि। ॐ कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमाह्निकम्। उत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्ता त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु। अथ पाद्यम्। ॐ सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलं पुरुष एवेदगं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यम् उतामृतत्वशेषानः यदन्येनातिरोहति एतावानस्य महिमा अतो जायागिश्च पूरुषः पादोऽस्य विश्वभूतानि त्रिपादस्यामृतं दिवि त्रिपादोर्ध्वौ दैपुरुषः पादोऽस्येह भवात् पुनः ततो विश्वं व्यक्रामत् शासनान् शने अभि तस्माद् विराड जायत विराजो अधिपूरुषः स जातो अत्यरिच्यत पश्चात् भूमिमथो पुरः यत्पुरुषेण हविषा देवा यज्ञमतन्वत वसन्तो अस्यासीधाजं ग्रीष्म इद्म शरद्धवि सप्तास्यासन् परिदयः त्रिसप्त तत्तसमेधः कृताः देवायत्यज्ञन्तन्वानाः अवदनन् पुरुषं पशुं तं यज्ञं बर्हिषि प्रोक्षन् पुरुषं जातमकृत तेन देवा अयजन्ता साध्या ऋषयश्चे तस्मात्यज्ञात् सर्वहुतः संवृतं वृषदाजं पशुविस्ताविश्चक्रे वायव्यान् आरण्यान् ग्राम्याश्चे तस्मात्यज्ञात् सर्वहुतः रुचः सामानि जज्ञिरे छन्दागंसि जज्ञिरे तस्मात् यजुस्तस्मादजायत तस्मादश्वा अजायन्त ये केचोभयादत गावो हजज्ञिरे तस्मात् तस्मा अजाता अजावयः यत्पुरुषं व्यददुः कतिधा व्यकल्पयन् मुखं किमस्य कौ बाहु का भूरुपादावुच्येते ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यकृतः ऊरुतरस्य यद्वैश्यः पद्भ्यागं शूद्रो अजायत पुष्पैः सम्पूजयामि। ॐ रामाय नमः, ॐ रघुनाथाय नमः, ॐ नाथाय नमः, ॐ सीतापतये नमः, ॐ परब्रह्मणे नमः, ॐ दशरथनन्दनाय नमः, श्रीरामचन्द्रमूर्तये नमः, ॐ सीतादेव्यै नमः, ॐ लक्ष्मणाय नमः, ॐ वीरहनुमते नमः, ॐ बालरामचन्द्राय नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ॐ हं हनुमते नमः, ॐ रामदूताय नमः, ॐ रामभक्ताय नमः, ॐ रामदासाय नमः, ॐ सीताशोकनिवारणाय नमः, ॐ वीरवीराय नमः, ॐ महावीराय नमः, ॐ अतिवीराय नमः, ॐ प्लवंगाय नमः, श्री आंजनेयाय नमो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ॐ कृष्णाय नमः, ॐ वासुदेवाय नमः, ॐ दामोदराय नमः, ॐ श्रीधराय नमः, ॐ वैकुण्ठाय नमः, ॐ वासुदेवाय नमः, ॐ परब्रह्मणे नमः, ॐ ईश्वराय नमः। ॐ नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। श्रीराधादेव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ वेङ्कटेशाय नमः, सत्यनारायणाय नमः, बालकृष्णाय नमो नमः। सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः। नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। धूपम् ॐ अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगं समुद्रेन्तं विश्वशम्भुवं पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशगं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधो निश्चाभितस्यान्ते नाभ्यामुपरितिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगं शिलाभिस्तुलं भत्या कोशसन्निभं। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमः। हनुमते नमः। राधा कृष्णभ्यां नमः। धूपमाघ्रापयामि। धूपानन्तरमिदमाचमनीं समर्पयामि। या ते हेतिर्मीरुष्टमहस्ते बभूवते ननुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुजा दिव्यमंगलदीपं दर्शयामि। सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमः। श्री हनुमते नमो नमः। दिव्यमंगलदीपं दर्शयामि। राधा कृष्णभ्यां नमो नमः। दिव्यमंगलदीपं दर्शयामि। सत्यदेवाय नमो नमः। वेंकटेशाय नमो नमः। बालकृष्णाय नमो नमः। श्रीचक्रदेवे नमः। दिव्यमंगलदीपं दर्शयामि। समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि। प्रार्थना है यही मेरी हनुमान जी, प्रार्थना है यही मेरी हनुमान जी, मेरे सिर पे भी अब हाथ धर दीजिए। प्रार्थना है यही मेरी हनुमान जी, मेरे सिर पे भी अब हाथ धर दीजिए। राम सीता का दर्शन करा के मुझे, राम सीता का दर्शन करा के मुझे, मेरे सपने को साकार कर दीजिए, मेरे सपने को साकार कर दीजिए। श्री सीता लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमत समेत रामचंद्राय नमः। We'll sing Hanuman Chalisa together. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधारे। बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु, जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करी देखो आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनी देखो रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे, अस कई श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सकहि कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, रचनाई, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते, राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे, होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख है तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज संहारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कांपे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, कांसै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है पर सिद्ध जगत जियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असुवन दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंतकाल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त काई, और देवता चित ना धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटै मिटै सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, जूटहि बंदी महासुख होई, जो यह पढ़ै हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, मेरे प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलिए पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम, तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष हनुमत रक्ष रक्ष श्री रामचंद्र रक्ष रक्ष राधा कृष्णभ्यां नमः। अनंतकोटि प्रदक्षिण नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। शिवाय नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय। श्री सांब सदा शिवाय नमः। ओम start by touching our head as we transform our bodies into a mandir for Bhagavan Shiva, after which we'll do Shiva Puja, we'll do Abhishek rather to the Lingam. Om Asya Shri Rudradhyaya Prashna Maha Mantrasya Aghora Rishihi Anushtup Chandaha Sankarshan Murti Swarupo Yosavaditya Parma Purushasa Esha Rudra Devata. ओम नमः शिवाय ति बीजम शिवतराय ति शक्ति महादेवाय ति कीलकम श्री सांब सदाशिव प्रसाद सिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः। ओम अग्निहोत्रात्मने अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः। ओम दर्श पूर्णमासात्मने तर्जनीभ्यां नमः। ओम चातुर्मास्यात्मने मध्यमाभ्यां नमः। ओम निरूढवशबन्धात्मने अनामिकाभ्यां नमः। ओम ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने कनिष्ठिकाभ्यां नमः। ओम सर्वकृत्वात्मने करतल करपृष्ठाभ्यां नमः। ओम अग्निहोत्रात्मने हृदयाय नमः। ओम दर्शपूर्णमासात्मने शिरसे स्वाहा। ओम चातुर्मास्यात्मने शिखायै वषट्। ओम निरूढपशुबन्धात्मने कवचायहम्। ओम ज्योतिष्ठोमात्मने नेत्रत्रयाय वौषत्। ओम सर्वकृत्वात्मने अस्त्राय फट्। भूर्भुवस्वरोमिति दिग्बन्धः ध्यानम्। ओम आपाताल नभस्थलान्तभुवन ब्रह्माण्डमा विस्फुरत्। ज्योतिस्फातिकलिङ्गमौलिविलसत् पूर्णेन्दुवान्ता मृतैः। अस्तोकाप्लुतमेकमीशमनिशं रुद्रानुवाकाञ्जपन्। ध्याये दीप्सितसिद्धये ध्रुवपरं विप्रोऽभिषिञ्चेत् शिवम्। ब्रह्माण्डव्याप्तदेहा भसितहिमूर्छा भासमाना भुजङ्गैः। कंठे कालाकपर्दा कलित शशिकला चंडको दंडहस्ताः। त्रक्षा रुद्राक्षमाला प्रकटित विभवा सांभवा मूर्तिभेदा। रुद्रा श्री रुद्र सूक्त प्रकटित विभवा न प्रयच्छन्तु सौख्यम्। ओम गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पता न शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम्। ओम श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ओम शञ्च मे मयश्च मे प्रियञ्च मे नुकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सौमनसश्च मे भद्रं च मे श्रेयश्च मे वस्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणञ्च मे यन्ता च मे धर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वञ्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रञ्च मे सोश्च मे प्रसूश्च मे सीरञ्च मे लयश्च मृतञ्च मे अमृतञ्च मे यक्ष्मञ्च मे नामयच्च मे जीवातुश्च मे दीर्घायुत्वञ्च मे नमित्रञ्च मे भयञ्च मे सुगञ्च मे शयनञ्च मे सुषा च मे सुरिनञ्च मे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। प्लीज कम फॉर अभिषेक एवरीवन। ओम नमो भगवते रुद्राय। नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यो तोते शवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यां ते नमः। या तैषु शिवतमा शुम्भभूवते धनुः। शिवा शरव्या या तवतया नो रुद्रमृडया। या ते रुद्र शिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी। तया नस्तनवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकशीः। यामिषं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे। शिवाङ्गिरित्रतां कुरु माहिगं शिव पुरुषं जगत्। शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावदामसि। यथा न सर्वमिद् जगत यक्ष्मघं सुमना असत्। अध्यवोचर निभक्ता प्रथमो दैव्याभिषक्। अहीगिश्च सर्वान् जम्भयन् सर्वा आस्यातु धान्यः असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुणौ तवब्रुषु मङ्गलः ये चेमागं रुद्राभितो दिक्षुश्रुता सहस्रशो वैशागं हेडयीमहे असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपादृशनृशनुरहार्यः उतैनं विश्वभूतानि सदृष्टो मृदयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीडुषे अथो यस्य सत्त्वानुहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमभयोराज्ञयोर्जां याश्च ते हस्तैषवपराता भगवो वप अवतत्य धनुस्त्वगं सहस्राक्षसते शुधे निशीलशल्याणां मुखा शिवो न सुमना भव वे जन्दनुक्कपर्जनो विशल्यो वाणवागं मुथा अनेसनस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः याते हेतिर्मीरुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते दनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नातताय दृष्णवे उभाभ्याम् उत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो यिषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निधेहितं शम्भवे नमः। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय परान्तकाय कालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। हर हर नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव। We shall sing Lingashtakam. At the end of each verse, we'll chant Om Namah Shivaya. If you know the words, please sing along. If not, chant at the end of each shloka, of each verse rather, Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Brahma Murari Surarchit Lingam Nirmal Bhashit Shobhit Lingam Janama Jadukha Vinashana Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Deva Muni Pravararchitalingam Tamadaham Karunakaralingam Ravadarpanyashanalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Sarva Sugandhi Sulepita Lingam Buddhi Vivardhana Karana Lingam Siddha Sura Sura Vandita Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah शिवाय कनक महामणिभूषितलिङ्गं फणिपतिवेशित शोभितलिङ्गं दक्षसूर्यविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 कुङ्कुमचन्दन लेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहार सुशोभितलिङ्गं संचितपाप विनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 देवगणार्चित सेवितलिङ्गं भावैर्भक्तिभिरे वचलिङ्गं दिनकर कोटि प्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 अष्टदलोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदलोपविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 सुरगुरु सुरवर पूजितलिङ्गं सुरवन पुष्प सदार्चितलिङ्गं परात्परं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 लिङ्गाष्टकमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते। हर हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। सांब सदा शिवाय नमः। बिलखतिम भजन।
हर हर शिव शंभो, हर हर शिव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। महादेव शंभो, महादेव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो। जय जय शिव शंभो, जय जय शिव शंभो।
Prasad, there's a prasad to offer. Please bring a prasad. Offer prasad at this time. Please bring a prasad. Prasad, offer prasad.
हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता। सिया राम के काज सवारे, सिया राम के काज सवारे, मेरा कर उधार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। अपरंपार है शक्ति तुम्हारी, अपरंपार है शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर रीजे अवध बिहारी, तुम पर रीजे अवध बिहारी। भक्ति भाव से ध्यायु तो है, भक्ति भाव से ध्यायु तो है, कर दुखों से पार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। जपो निरंतर नाम तिहारा, जपो निरंतर नाम तिहारा, अब नहीं चोदन तेरा द्वारा, अब नहीं चोदन तेरा द्वारा। राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीजे, राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीजे, पाव सागर से तार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार।
Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Dhamma 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 Rupa Jai Shiva Om. Dhamma 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 Rupa Jai Shiva Om. Trishuladari Gangadari. Trishuladari Gangadari. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Shambhu Shankara He Amba Yankara. Shambhu Shankara He Amba Yankara. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Shiva Maheshwara He Nandeshwara. Shiva Maheshwara He Nandeshwara. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Shisha Chandra Dada He Pralayankara. Shisha Chandra Dada He Pralayankara. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. Hara 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 Shiva Shiva Om. Bhajale He Manta Nama Shivananta. Bhajale He Manta Nama Shivananta. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Dhamma 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 Rupa Jai Shiva Om. Dhamma 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 Rupa Jai Shiva Om. Trishuladari Gangadari. Trishuladari Gangadari. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Om. 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 Hara Hara Shiva Shiva. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva. Om Shiva. Om Shiva. Om.
Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Ata Prarthana. Om Karpur Gauram Karunavataram Samsar Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hridayarvinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Together we sing Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya. Shri Samba Sada Shivaya Namaha. O Manojavam Marutatullya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutamukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapatye. Shri Ram Ram Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tatulyam Ramanam Varanane. Shri Sita Lakshmana Bharata Shatrughna Hanumat Sameta Ramachandraya Namaha. Hanumate Namaha. Ram Ram. Today is a very special day in our calendar. Today is Father's Day, but I always like to remind you that every day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, should be celebrated by showing respect to our parents. So it's a day for the Western world to think of the importance of their father, but in the Hindu tradition, those who are blessed to have their father, you touch their feet every day. Why this day is important is just for us to reflect and to be thankful for what our parents have done for us. You know, thank you is a little word, but when it comes from the heart, when it comes to sincerity and love, it means a lot. Our parents don't want us to tell them thank you, but out of our love, we express that special word, thank you. It's such a simple word, but it means a lot. To those of us who have lost our father, we look at Bhagavan Shiva as our father. For Mother's Day, when we celebrated Mother's Day, I always tell you those who have lost our mothers, we look at Mataji, Durga Ma as our mothers. Now, a child remains dependent on his or her parents for the fulfillment of physical needs much longer than any other mammal. Is that true? A human child depends on his parents much longer than any other mammal. In the wild, the moment the horse gives birth, the foal has to walk within 2 or 3 hours. Or the deer, they have to get up and walk within a few hours. If not, they'll become the meal of another animal in the wild. But as humans, the child takes about 1 year to start creep, to walk. Eventually, 1.5 years, the child will start walking. Some do it a little faster. And then to speak, another almost 1.5 years or 2 years to speak. So we depend much longer than any other species on our parents. Even as an adult, a child continues to seek guidance, support, and love from his or her parents. In the Vedic tradition of Sanatana Dharma, our parents receive love, devotion from us. Why? Because we're thankful for the sacrifices they have made. And there's a beautiful thing in the Taittiriya Upanishad. There are 3 powerful statements. A student of the Vedas
would recite every day. First, Matri Devo Bhava, then Pitri Devo Bhava, then Acharya Devo Bhava. And it's hard to put these Sanskrit words into English, but I'll try. So when we say Matri Devo Bhava, we are saying, may you be one for whom your mother is like a deity. May you be one for whom your mother is a deity. And then Pitri Deva Bhava, may you be one for whom your father is a deity. So our mothers and our fathers are our first guru. Everything, most of the things we learn in life, we learn from them. Basic skills, how to walk, how to conduct yourself. Cleanliness, we learn from our parents from a very tender age. So they are the first guru. The Sanskrit word for father is pita. And the word pita comes from the root pa. The Sanskrit root, all Sanskrit words come from Sanskrit roots. And there are over 2,200 Sanskrit roots where the entire language comes from. So the word pita comes from the root pa, which means to protect. And our fathers always protect us. Although we may be old, our father always is a protector. And Chanakya, one of the great philosophers of ancient India, in Arthashastra wrote a beautiful shloka describing who is a father. So there are 5 things a father performs. This individual doesn't have to be your biological father. If the person performs one of these 5 things, he is like a father to you. Let us see what he has to say. Annadata bhayatrata yasya kanya vivahita janita chopaneta cha panchaite pitarasmritaha. So panchaite pitarasmritaha, these 5 types of people are called a father. The first one is annadata, one who provides the necessities and securities of life. Father. The first job, but the first role of a father, to provide these necessities and securities for a child. Then bhayatrata, a father removes fear. You know, sometimes our father, we have certain things to discuss, certain private matters, but we don't want to go to the father. Sometimes he's a stern gentleman. Sometimes. Some children, I should say, prefer to discuss whatever secrets they have with the mother. On the other hand, some of them decide to go to the father. What I find, girls will go to the father when they want to get their way. And vice versa. Boys will go to the mother when they want to get their way. I've seen that sometimes. So, bhayatrata, the father removes fear. Then, yasya kanya vivahita. Father is one who gives his daughter in hand in marriage, kanyadan. The fourth one is janita, of course, one who procreates is a father, and upaneta cha. The fifth quality of a father is one who initiates his or her child into the study of the Vedas. So these 5 people are called fathers. We'll turn our attention quickly to Ramcharitamanas and we look at the birth of Bhagwan Sri Ram. When Dasharath ji, after many years, he waited for a child in his home. He wanted to hear the melodious voice of a child crying in his home. So he waited for many, many, many years. Then, after the Putrakamishti Yajna, the queens became pregnant, and it was time for Sri Ram to appear. Tulsidas ji writes, this is how he responded when he heard the crying of the child. And for fathers, you know, in this society, the father is allowed to go in the delivery room. I've heard of cases where the father passed out in the delivery room, much more afraid than the mother who has to give birth to the child, which is such a difficult experience. So I've heard of situations like that. But Rajaras, in the old days, the father is kept outside. You know, back home in India and Ghana, we didn't have access to doctors, hospitals. So the midwife would come home. She's like a doctor. And she would keep everyone out of the room. The father would be pacing the floor up and down, waiting to hear the crying of the child for the first time. And the midwife will be there for the delivery of the child. So in a similar situation, Raja Dasharath ji was kept out of the palace, out of Kaushalya Bhavan. He was not allowed to go in. And they had the Vaidya, the doctors, midwife, they were there, waiting for the appearance of Sri Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai. सुनि सुरुदन परम प्रिय पानी संभ्रम चली आई सब प्राणी श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. हर्षित जहाँ तहाँ धाई तासी हर्षित जहाँ तहाँ धाई तासी आनंद मगन सकल पुरवासी श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम राम Suni Sisirudana Parama Priyamani, on hearing the crying, the most delightful song of a baby crying in the palace after many years. Sambrahmachali Ai Savarani, all the other queens rushed to Ma Kaushalya Bhavan because Sri Ram was the first child to appear. Harashita Jahatah Dhai Dasi, all the servants, the maids started running in, all helter-skelter all over the place. There was so much excitement in the Raja Dasharath's kingdom at that time. Ananda Magana Sakala Puravasi. And in great delight, all the people of Ayodhya were drowned in joy, ecstasy. After many years, Dasharathji is blessed with children. So now, as I said, Dasharathji was pacing the floor, waiting for the news. And he heard the crying of the child. So now news came to him. And as we look at each other, why our fathers reacted a similar way when he heard of your birth. To see that, he says, Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Rama. Dasharath Janma Dasharath Putra Janma Sunikana Magana Brahma Manav Brahmanand Samana Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Rama.
Param prema man pulak sarira. परम प्रेम मन पुलक शरीरा चाहत उठन करत मति धीरा श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram
जय
Jai
राम जय जय Dasharatha पुत्र जन्म सुनिखाना. The moment the good news came to him, आप पिता हो गए. You become a father, O Maharaj Dasharath ji. Manav Brahmananda Samana. He was drowned in ecstasy, as it were, absorbed in bliss with Brahman. So happy he was. Our father celebrated in a similar way as well. And it's very important that we look at certain things that are not being practiced according to dharma in our society, and we address them. We have to. What we notice in today's society, when people are blessed with children, instead of celebrating in a dharmic way, you know the other way how they celebrate. So this is the first celebration for your child in his or her life. You want to perform the celebration, start it on a dharmic note. So this impression will be on the child as he or she grows up in this world. The samskar will be instilled into the child. When we celebrate in a dharmic way, we know what happens. So when we celebrate the birth of a child, give thanks to Bhagwan. I know in certain tradition in the home, they wait until 12th day because of Sutak, different traditions around the world. But the first place you want to take the child from the home is that you must take the child to mandir for darshan. I know so many families after the birth of the child, after 10 or 12 days, they bring the child straight to the mandir for darshan. And then they have puja in their home, they have havan shuddhi in their home. They celebrate in a dharmic way so that the impression will remain with the child. It is so important that we follow this Vedic tradition when we celebrate the appearance of a child. So there's one samskar, prenatal samskar. After marriage ceremony, the couple, through the guidance of the Panditji, will perform one special samskar. And when the dulhan becomes pregnant, there's another samskar, Garbhadhana samskar. And then also at the birth of the child, there's Jata Karma samskar and Janma, special things we do. And we give the child a name as well. Panditji comes home and he writes the name in Sanskrit, and archana is done to the name. So all of these are very, very important. These samskar, the rishis have given us this tradition, and we try our best to follow. So when we celebrate the birth of a child, do it in a dharmic way, please. In the West Indian way, we have 9 days. You all know what's 9 days, right? I won't say anything more. It should be done in a dharmic way. It should be done in a dharmic way. Parama prema manapulaka sarira, with the mind saturated with the highest love, Dasharath. He couldn't control his emotion. Pulaka sarira, with his body beaming in delight. Pulaka sarira, he couldn't control his emotion. Chaute panapai sutachari. We studied about 2 months ago when Vishwamitra Muni came and said, Mujhe Ram or Lakshman chahiye. I need your 2 sons to go and fight war with me, to fight against this Rakshas. He looked at Vishwamitra Muni and said, in the last part of my life, I am blessed with these children. How am I going to part with them? The love of a dear father. So excited he was. Chahat utana karata manadhira. He sought to rise, but while attempting to do so, he couldn't. There was so much emotion that he was so nervous and happy at the same time, so much joy in his mind. Like he tried. Let us take an example. Imagine when you receive the best news in your life, whatever that news may be. You're waiting for this news to come, and you receive that news. How did you react? Probably you tried to stand, but there was so much emotion you couldn't stand. You had to sit. So there was so much love in his heart. He couldn't control his emotion. Goosebumps. So much love was welling up in his mind. Probably tears were flowing from his eyes. I am blessed with a child today. I become a father today. He tried, but he had to sit again. And in Valmiki Ramayana, we are told that he was so nervous that the crown on his head started shaking. This is how our fathers responded when we appear in this world. He couldn't control his emotion like Dasharatha ji. So after the Dasi came, the maid came, they told him about the birth of his child. He gave them jewelry. You know the tradition? He gave them gold and diamond, different jewelry. Took out some garlands from his neck, some of the jewelry, and gave it to them. And then he sat again and he pondered in his mind. You know, we have come from this Vedic tradition. Bacche ka roop Bhagwan hai. We see Bhagwan in our little daughters. Our little daughters, we see Durga Ma in them. We see Sita Maya, we see Radha Devi in them. And our little sons, we see Natkat Gopal, or naughty little Krishna in our little sons. We see Bala Krishna. Tulsidas ji writes, he pondered in his mind, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
जाकर नाम सुनत शुभ होई जाकर नाम सुनत शुभ होई मोरे गृह आवा प्रभु सोई श्री राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
श्री राम जय जय राम परमानंद पूरी मन राजा परमानंद पूरी मन राजा कह बोलाई बजावहु बाजा श्री राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Jaya Ram.
श्री राम जय जय राम Dasharath ji pondered. He was told by his guru that Bhagwan will come as your son. That is, Sri Ram will come in your home. So he thought, Jakar naam sunat subh hoi. He said to himself, this Bhagwan, whose name it is a blessing to hear. Blessing is always a blessing to hear Bhagwan's name. That Bhagwan has taken a physical form and come into my home. How blessed I am. And you know, when our children, those who are blessed to have children in their life, you never know, Bhagwan may take form and come as your child, your daughter, your son. That's why we say, Bacche ka roop Bhagwan hai, there is a saying. He said to himself, Paramananda Puri Manaraja. He couldn't control emotions. His heart was overflowing with supreme joy. He then summoned his musicians to celebrate. And this is how he celebrated. We talked a little bit about celebration. Do it in a dharmic way. He sent for his Guruji. His Guruji, Vasishtaji, came along with many sadhus to the home. You know, back in India, and I'm sure we used to have it in Guyana, in the old days, not now, so I'm sure in Sri Lanka as well. At the birth of a child, there are some older folks in the village who would come. The older men and older women in the village will come, they'll play upon their drums, on the musical instruments, and they come to the home where to the family who were just blessed with a baby, and they will sing appropriate songs. They would dance and celebrate. They won't ask for anything, but the family would call them in and give them whatever they have, something to eat, and give them dakshina, whatever they had. That's one way of celebrating too. So, but Dasharath ji, he sent for his Guruji. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Guru Vasishta kaha gaya hu hakara. Guru Vasishta kaha gaya hu hakara. Aaye dvijan sahit nrip dwara. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram,
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Anupam balak dekin hi jai. Anupam balak dekin hi jai. Roop rasi gun kahi na sirai. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Guru Vasishta kaha gaye hu akara. He sent for a message for his Guruji to come. Of course, his Guruji Vasishta ji was waiting for this moment because he made a prediction that Vishnu Bhagwan will appear as your son. He will come as your child, Dasharath ji. So Guru Vasishta ji was waiting. Aaye dvijana sahita nripadwara. The moment he received the message, he came with a host of sadhus. They came to the door of Raja Dasharath ji. Before they enter into the kingdom, they started to recite Vedic mantras. Mantras from Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Tharvada, giving blessings. The whole Vatavaran, the whole atmosphere was purified by these Vedic mantras. Then they went inside. Anupam balak dekhin jai. They all went and gazed at that peerless, that matchless child. That very handsome little baby Sri Ram. They all came and looked. And you know, at the time of the birth of a child, nazar na lagna. We don't want to, too many. In every tradition we have it. That the baby, they want to keep the baby so that nobody may look at the baby in a little negative way, nazar, or drishti. Look at the baby because it says sometimes people look at the baby. It's a tradition. They look at the baby and they look at the baby in a certain way and then certain negative energy may come to the child. So they want to conceal the baby. But when these sadhus came, they came to give blessings. We see also the birth of Bhagavan Sri Krishna when Kandhaiya, Bhagavan Shiva went there as a sadhu to look at baby Kandhaiya. Yashoda Ma kept the baby inside. Because Bhagavan Shiva, when there's an old sadhu with tattered clothes, a long beard, he had his damru in his hand, with bhasma all over his forehead. And he said, how am I going to bring my little Kandhaiya and show him to this little, to this sadhu? The sadhu to her didn't have a good appearance. So she kept the child. When she took the child inside, Kandhaiya would not stop crying. When the child does not take the bottle or the child does not eat, the child cries, some najar. Then we have come to Panditji or some sadhu to jade the baby. This is a jari tradition. You know how many times Panditji prayed upon you and sadhus blessed you before you grow up so healthy and strong? Many, many times. Then eventually, someone advised her to take the baby to Bhagavan Shiva. Then Bhagavan Shiva got the darshan as well. So in a similar situation, the sadhus came and they gazed upon that peerless, that matchless child. Ruparasi guna kahina jai, who was an embodiment of beauty and possessed excellences more than one could tell. This is the handsome little baby Sri Ram. While all of this was going on, his father Dasharath ji could not contain his joy. This is how our fathers also celebrated when we came into this world. Now we will go quickly and look at one chaupai. When Sri Ram was about to be exiled, he had a conversation with Kaikeyi Ma. And he made a beautiful statement. These are the words of Sri Ram to Kaikeyi Ma. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai 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 Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Sunu janani soi sut bad bhagi. Sunu janani soi sut bad bhagi. Jo pitu matu bachan anuragi. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram. Tanaya matu pitu toshanihara. Tanaya matu pitu toshanihara. Durlabh janani sakal samsara. Durlabh janani sakal samsara. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram. So having celebrated the appearance of Bhagavan Sri Ram and how his father reacted with emotion, we will look at this important chaupai. Sri Ram said to Kaikeyi Ma, Suna janani soi sutta bada bhagi. Listen, Ma, blessed is that child. Jo pitu matu bachana anuragi, who is devoted to the words of the parents. Blessed is that child. We are told in our tradition that the closest thing to God that we have seen, the closest thing to Bhagavan that we have seen, is our mother and our father. So much love that they are our earthly Bhagavan. Our mothers are Durga Ma. Our fathers are Bhagavan Shiva. And we must do seva. We must do seva. If you're blessed to have your parents, make sure every day touch their feet. Sometimes in situation, the parents may be ill, and in this society, there are facilities. I know some people, they feel if they take their parents, their ill parents, to a facility where they'll be away from the home, they look at it as something that it will reflect bad on the family. Please don't look at it that way. If your parent needs 24-hour care, you can't provide that. And there are facilities in this part of the world. Take them where they'll be taken care of. But make sure you go regularly. Every day. And I would say always, when you go, just touch their feet, massage their feet. If the nurse is feeding and changing them, go and help. That's your seva. That's your seva. You must. Sometimes in situation, the parent may not remember you because of Alzheimer, because of dementia. They may not remember you. I know of some cases so sad where the parent can't remember the child. Very sad situation. But remember, when you didn't know anyone, you know your parent. When you cried, your father and your mother knew exactly what was going on with you. And they provided every care for you, my friends. So if situation comes in life where because of an illness they may not remember you, you know who they are. And you must do your seva. You must do your seva, pyare. If we neglect our duty of doing seva, this life is a full circle. If you don't do it, pyare, your turn is coming. Karma is such a straightforward thing in life. Karma, we all believe in gravity, right? Karma is like gravity. You throw something up, it will come down. Jaise karni vaise varan. You do actions we have to face the consequences, my friends. So if you don't do that little seva, when your turn comes, don't cry and complain. Accept and say, you know what, I neglected my duties when I was in a situation to help. Now I have to face the consequences. But no, we don't say that. I was the best child. I was a godsend to my parents. We hear that sometimes. So blessed is the child, jo pitu matu vachana anurag. You would listen to their parents and would do seva. When our parents, I should say, give us advice, especially for a teenager, there's too much hormones in the life of a teenager. They can't think properly. I'm telling you for experiences. We all, those who are old like me, a little older, you know that. Teenage years, it's difficult to give them advice. Later on in life, when they become a little wiser, a little older, or when they look in retrospect, what my parents said to me, my father, my mother said to me 10 years ago, they would be thankful for those advice. So cut them some slacks when they're a little young, but keep them on their toes, meaning that we give them good advice. Let them know right from wrong. Give them guidance. And children, when you get a little older, then you will know the importance of the advice of your father and your mother. It may fly over your head today or later on in life, but as you become a little older, when we make bad decisions, we always live to regret them. Especially when we're a little rude to our parents or we don't listen to their advice. When any important decisions you have to make in life, if you're blessed to have your parents, seek their advice. You may say, it's a business decision. They don't have anything about accounting. They know this, they know that. They have experience. They have love for you. They have your interest at heart. So seek their advice before you make important decisions in life. With their blessings, you'll find success. Taina matu pitutosha nehara, durlabha janani sakala samsara. Tulsidas is saying, quoting Bhagwan Sri Ram's word, a child who thus pleases his or her parents in this world is rare to find. How many sons will behave like Sri Ram, like Bharat, like Lakshmanji, like Sri Krishna, like Devaki Ma, like Sita Ma? These are examples for girls and boys. Listen to your parents. Listen to their advice. If you don't agree with them, it's okay not to agree with everything that they say. You can't agree 100%. If you disagree, don't let them know during the conversation that you disagree. Listen. Step out the door if you disagree and think by yourself separately. But do not let them know that you disagree with their decision. So you don't want to hurt the feelings of your parents. Because you can't begin to imagine what they went through. We can't begin to imagine what they went through in life to raise us. How our fathers toiled, from the old school, those who were born in India, Sri Lanka, back home. The mother's at home, she does everything at home. She manages the finance, she takes care, she cooks at least 3 meals every day. The house is kept clean, she does everything. She has a 24-hour job. But then the father, in quite a few cases, not all cases, but I should say 75% of the cases, or even 80% of the cases, the father is the sole breadwinner. He will go and toil all day, from morning to night. just to make sure that we had the basic necessities. And when we look back sometimes, when we were young, we wanted a special shoe to go to school, a special piece of clothing. And our parents would say, we can't afford that, my child. And what we get angry. We get angry. Why? My friends have these, why can't I have these? Then they would say, you know what? We don't have the money to buy a child. We can't afford it. And then the child would accept. In this society, the child wants a Michael Jordan shoe. You tell him you can't afford it, you're in big trouble. You better take a loan and buy it for me, I need it. That's the difference with that society and this society. We would understand. Growing up, our four brothers were just 2 years apart. Just an example. When we went to school, Ma would buy the clothes and she would stitch the shirt. She couldn't afford it, like most of us. And the pants, and we'll get the same shirt and pants. And I did never like that. All 4 of us had to wear the same design clothes and go to school. They didn't like it, and so didn't I. But now when we look at life, we know the sacrifices our parents made. They would buy the cloth, and so talented was our mothers were, that she would even know to actually stitch that pant and that shirt. Because if she takes it to the tailor or someone, a seamstress, she would have to pay for it. And she didn't have the money to pay for it. How can we be rude to such people who give 150% of themselves totally to us? They would sacrifice them, the basic necessities for themselves just to make sure we were comfortable. That's the closest thing to Bhagwan we have seen. Please bow to them. Thank them for their sacrifices. We owe them in this life, and I should say hundreds of lives to come. We owe them for the sacrifices that they have made. So in conclusion, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. We bow to Bhagwan Shiva, those who don't have our fathers. We ask him to take care of their fathers who passed away. If your parents are not well, if they're in a facility that they're away from home, please visit them today. Make sure you touch their feet and get their blessings. Har Har Namah Parvati Pate, Har Har Mahadeva, Shivaya Namaha. We'll conclude with 1 or 2 verses from Shri Ramachandra Kripala Bhajaman, Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripal Bhajman Harana Bhav Bhayadarunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripal Bhajman Harana Bhav Bhayadarunam. Navakan Jalochana Kanj Mukh Pad Kanj Pad Kanjarunam. Navakanjalochana Kanj Mukh Pad Kanj Pad Kanjarunam. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Kandarpa Aganit Amit Chavi Navanila Niraj Sundaram Patpit Manahu Tanit Suchi Nami Jana Kasutavaram. Shri Ramachandra Kripal Bhajman Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram.
दीन बंधु दिनेश दानव दैत्यवं शनिकंदनं रघुनंद आनंद कंज कौशल चंद्र दशरथ नंदनम श्री रामचंद्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम श्री राम श्री राम सिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारु उदारु अंग विभूषण आजानुभुज सर चाप धर संग्राम जित खर दूषण श्री रामचंद्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम श्री राम श्री राम इति वदति तुलसीदास शंकर शेष मुनि मनरंजनम मम हृदय कंज निवास कुरु कामादिखल दलगंजनम श्री रामचंद्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम बोलिए रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. So dear friends and family, just a reminder that we are having, the temple is open, Mandir is open every Saturday from 12:30 p.m. with Navagraha Puja and Shiva Puja. We have the murtis of Navagraha Devata right to the side here. So every Saturday there is Navagraha Puja along with Shiva Puja from 12:30, and Mandir is open from 12:30 till about 6:37. 7 p.m. there is Arati, because it's Hanuman Mandir and Saturday is a very important day for Hanumanji. Not that Hanumanji has a day off, the other days during the week, right? So please make a note of that. Come by a little bit on Saturday. We usually sing Hanuman Chalisa when I'm available. Usually Saturdays, mostly Arjun and the youths, they take care of it. So come by a little bit on Saturday. And just another announcement, we're having 3 sessions of Bhagavad Katha celebrating Arjuna's 16th birthday. So his birthday on the 13th of July. So the 14th, 15th, and 16th, he will be sitting here and reading 3 sessions of Bhagavad Katha as initiation into this dharmic lifestyle. I ask of you to please come and give him your blessings. Give him your blessings so that he will have his career and he will also serve within the community. So we need young people to be involved because we're all getting old. And this is how we pass on dharma. Sanatana dharma is not a missionary system. This is how we pass it on tradition from one to the next generation to the next generation. This is how it's been going on for thousands upon thousands of years. We pass on whatever little bit we know. And when it comes to Vedic knowledge, whatever all of us know is not even a drop in the ocean of knowledge. एक बूंद भी नहीं है. So profound and vast is this tradition that we have come from. So whatever little we know, we pass it on to the young generation so that they can keep the jhanda of Sanatana Dharma flying high in this part of the world or wherever they go.
Also, the kids are planning a youth camp. So what I'll do, I'll get Arjuna will talk about the youth camp shortly. So please take a flyer, make a note of these days. The Friday night from 6:30 to 9 p.m., Saturday from 6:30 to 9 p.m., and this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12:30, but it will go after 12:30. We'll do Vyas Puja on the last day. So we're trying to organize it and put everything in such a way whereby when devotees come, we want to make everyone is comfortable and take care of everyone who visits. It's a special occasion. Please put a note in your calendar and come. He will talk about the camp, after which we'll do offer Priti Bhoj.
Sitaram, everyone.
Yes, it's
I just want to tell you about the youth camp that we have. So me and my cousin Arun Tiwari, we are starting a youth camp in the temple from every Wednesday from July 17th to August 27th. We'll have it every Wednesday in the temple from 6 to 7 p.m. So we encourage everyone that any youths or any youths that you know, or if anyone wants to join the camp, you can let me know. And basically, we want to have this camp just to influence the younger kids, to teach them about Sanatan Dharma and how to be a proud Hindu. So we encourage everyone to come out. Thank you.
How many students you have so far?
We have about like 30 students. Well, 30 parents, but they have like some of them have like 2 or 3 kids. So maybe like 40 kids right now. So.
And you know how this started about, we were going to Bhoglagaon, Prasad Charao. So we were coming from a wake one night with him and his cousins, and we were talking, coming from Brampton. And his cousin goes to Pickering High, huge high school. And they have all of these groups, all of these religious groups, they have a body there, right? Student representing each of the other religion with the exception of Hinduism. Every other religion has a group, a youth group that represents their religion with the exception of Hindus. So they came up with the idea, so they're going to start here, and the students who come here will take whatever little bit they learn and take that message back to their respective schools so that we can have little the students can have little Hindu groups within the community. So that's the main goal. So this is how we have to start, because if we don't teach our children dharma, someone else will teach them adharma. So this is how we want to let the mandir is a place of learning. So we will take this knowledge back in the community to their schools. If you know of any children, it's open to all children. If you know of any children, let them come, please. We'll get them involved. Om Shri Sita Lakshmana Bharat Shatrugna Hanumat Samet Ramachandraya Namo Namaha Shri Hanumate Namo Namaha. Anyone else has prasad to offer? Please bring a prasad if you have prasad to offer. Rama Bhaktaya Vidmahe Kapi Sreshtaya Dhimahi Tanno Hanumat Prachodayat. Sita Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna Hanumat Sameta Ramachandraya Namo Namaha Shri Hanumate Namaha Veera Veeraya Namo Namaha. He Dukh Bhanjan Maruti Nandan सुन लो मेरी पुकार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन सुन लो मेरी पुकार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार.
अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विधाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विधाता, सिया राम के काज सवारे, सिया राम के काज सवारे, मेरा कर उद्धार पवन सुत विनती बारंबार, पवन सुत विनती बारंबार। रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। आइए, प्लीज कम, we'll do आरती. Please do not go on the altar during आरती. After आरती, then you can go have darshan. Please come everyone. Stand, we'll do आरती. आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की। गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद, वाल्मीक विज्ञान विशारद, शुभ सनकादिशेष अरुसारद, बरनि पवन सुत कीरति की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की। गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश, छहो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस, मुनि जन धन संतन को सर्वस, सारा अंश समथ सब ही की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की। गावत संतत शंभु भवानी, अरुघट संभव मुनि विज्ञानी, अरुघट संभव मुनि विज्ञानी। व्यास आदि कविवर्ज बखानी, व्यास आदि कविवर्ज बखानी। कागभूषुंडी गरुड़ के की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की। कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी, कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी। शुभग श्रृंगार मुक्ति जुबती की, दलन रोग भाव मोरिया में की। तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियति की सीताराम राम राम 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 सीताराम राम राम. Today's Priti Bhoj is sponsored by Lakshmin and Cecil Jaipal. Please join me in a short prayer before we conclude the final pratna. May Bhagavan bless them. They always support our mandir in every which way. We ask Bhagavan to continue to bless them with health, wealth and happiness. Om Buddhir Balam Yashodhairyam Nirbhayatvam Marogata Ajadyam Vakpatutvancha Hanumat Smaranat Bhaved. Ramachandraya Namaha Hanumate Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Ban Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardana Yat Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Tarastu Me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Dyauh Shanti Antarikshagah Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapah Shanti Aushadhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Boliye Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Jagarambe Maiya ki jai. Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadeva Sanatana Dharma ki jai. Please take Arati, Panchamrit and Prasad. Come, I'll give you Panchamrit and Prasad. Please have some Priti Bhoj before you leave.